Countdown. You know, when it comes to politics, it gets a little tiresome seeing history repeats itself in this country. I mean, it's like I always see history repeating itself. In the last 30 years, I just keep seeing certain events just keep repeating itself. The old adage, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. That's the Democratic Party for you right there, in a nutshell. And, with the Republican victory in Virginia the other day and elsewhere around the country, I'm not exactly sure who won in New Jersey yet. That seems to be a mystery, and I can't get a definite answer. And I'm so sorry I can't get a definite answer right now. 2 days later. But anyhow, I do know that in Virginia, Glenn Youngkins defeated Terry McAuliffe. And just as they did in 1994, 2010, 2016, blame the left. That's what they decided to do, is to blame the left. I can't say I'm shocked. It's exactly what I expected. I mean, the thing about it, in 1994, when they claimed that Bill Clinton governed too far left, are they fucking crazy? That's what they claim. I realized the Democratic Party was a piece of shit because of Bill Clinton, and I went further left. I'm not even the most fucking radical person around, but I knew that the Democratic Party was not a left-wing party in my 20s. I knew that, and I really am more than ever believing that we need a Labor Party in this country. And and sometimes I get lured back into the Democratic Party on a part-time basis, say, well, maybe this time, maybe this time, maybe this time. It gets very, very frustrating. So they claim that Bill Clinton, get this, governed too far left. I'm going to pee in my pants hearing that. Hillary Clinton came up with a plan that was just as crappy as Obamacare. Might have been maybe slightly better. But it still kept the main cause of medical inflation, private health insurance companies. She was called a socialist. And, Hillary Clinton is almost a rhino Republican. She's basically a moderate Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are both basically moderate Republicans in the year 2021 who happen to be pro-choice on abortion and pro-gay marriage. But pretty much a standard Republican otherwise. But, they just look more hip as Democrats, I guess. They claim that the Clintons governed too far left. Why? Because of Jocelyn Elders, the Surgeon General. Bill Clinton fired Jocelyn Elders. Jocelyn Elders was probably one of the few people that Bill Clinton appointed in his administration that was worth a damn. She had policies that needed to be enacted. She talked about possibly legalizing drugs. And she was talking about, and I guarantee you if we would have listened to her, we'd be having less organized crime in this country. She was talking about tolerance when it comes to issues of sexuality. And finally, people have kind of come around. So progress is mighty slow. The whole issue of gays in the military. Woo! Gays in the military. When the problem is the military's everywhere around the world. Way too much. Just that's the problem. Not that there are LGBTQ individuals in the military, but what the military is doing, straight and LGBTQ alike. So that's more of an scandal or issue to me than the notion of gays in the military. And then Bill Clinton acted apologetically when the Democrats lost the House for the first time since 1954, out of power. And basically, with his speech in January 1995, the era of big government is over. This was the time of the Democratic Leadership Council. The Democratic Leadership Council, which came into being after the 1984 loss of Walter Mondale. It took them a little while to gain traction in the Democratic Party, but they did. And in like 89 or 90, Bill Clinton became head of the Democratic Leadership Council. And the Democratic that literally Reaganized the Democratic Party. It turned the Democratic Party into the toilet bowl it is today. Basically, corporatist policies, maybe a softer version of it than what the Republicans were hashing out then, but it was still, it shifted the Democratic Party to the right. That's when they were called New Democrats. In Great Britain, something similar was going on at the time with the British Labour Party under Tony Blair. Tony Blair Thatcherized the Labour Party. Here's the difference. While the Labour Party isn't as radical as I would like for them to be in the UK today, they're closer back to where they need to be, back toward the path for traditional socialism or traditional social democracy. The Democratic Party is still a right-wing party in this country. Christopher Hedges said that if the Democratic Party was in another country, it'll be a right-wing party, and he's right. So the difference between Democrats and Republicans is that the Republicans institutionally are radical, crazy, religious, fundamentalist, borderline fascists. And the Democratic Party is nothing more than a secular version of the insanity, which is the Republican Party. They're both garbage, by the way. In 2010, after Obama won in 2010 with Obamacare, which was a plan drafted by the Heritage Foundation, everybody thought we were in the path toward socialism. And then the Tea Party sat there and berated and lectured Democrats about spending, when those motherfuckers that got elected to Congress were spending just as much as the Democrats supposedly were. But you see, the thing about it is, while the Democrats come up with shitty plans like Heritage Foundation style health care, Obamacare, Romney care, Republicans really dump it on corporate welfare, and they really dump it on just the whole corporate corruption, and are they push for the military industrial complex so we can go and get into more neocon wars abroad. Democrats are almost as bad, by the way. So again, we're just at this point of the Obama presidency trying to get over the Bush-Cheney era. They were damned and determined, the Republicans, to keep that Bush-Cheney era going. And as shitty as George W. Bush was, that era, it was still the continuation of the Bush-Cheney consensus and policies, but with the asshole demeanor of the Tea Party, for which they provided plenty of. 2016, Donald Trump ran for president. We all laugh. This can't be. He's not to be taken seriously. And I go by that conspiracy theory that I've always came up with. Everybody can laugh at me all they want, but I really believe that Bill Clinton and Donald Trump were having a golf game in 2014 or 2012 or whatever the fuck, because Bill and Hillary Clinton were buddies with Donald Trump. And I really do believe that everybody knew that Hillary Clinton was going to run in 2016, and that Donald Trump and Bill Clinton were playing golf, and I really do believe that Bill Clinton was suggesting to Donald Trump, trying to appeal to his ego, hey Don, maybe you should run. Maybe you should run for political office. I really, really do believe that. And I think that Donald Trump felt like, hey, maybe I could run for office. My Donald Trump impression is pretty awful. But anyway, and I think that somewhere along the way they had an arrangement. And I think that somewhere along the way, Donald Trump said to himself, I think I could go win this presidential contest. So fuck the Clintons. I'm going to go all the way and win this election. So I think that's what happened. I think the plan was to disrupt the Republican Party from within with Donald Trump's toxic entry into the Republican primaries, which I have to confess, that was one of the best entertainment I have seen on television in a long time. I mean, only to be matched with Donald Trump's mean tweets during his presidency. Hated Donald Trump on policy. I missed the mean tweets. I missed the insults he threw at Marco Rubio and at Chris Christie and at Jeb Bush and Ted Cruz. I mean, that was just the best entertainment around. But anyway, it was a contentious primary on policy between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. And what happened? Hillary Clinton cheated Bernie Sanders out of the Democratic nomination. So, and then she was opposing or campaigning against Donald Trump. Donald Trump campaigning against Hillary Clinton. It got personal with those two. And I really do believe that, as I said, what was an arrangement ended up Donald Trump being power hungry. He decided he was going to go ahead and win the presidency. Well, guess what they did after the election? They blamed Bernie Sanders. I lost several friends because I supported Bernie Sanders in the primaries in 2016. And I'll fucking do it again if I could go back in time. Of course, they were probably a little more mad that I voted for Jill Stein. And I would fucking do that again, too, by the way. They made a victim out of Hillary Clinton for several months. They honestly did. And it was really infuriating. It really was. So, it's like blame the left. I mean, that's basically what I'm coming down to. Now, I was listening to the Kyle Kalinske show on Blogspot Radio. And I was also watching the Kyle Kalinske show a few hours later, same material, content. And he was talking about Terry McAuliffe loss in Virginia the other day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a snippet from his program, because he can eloquently put the commentary to better usage than I could. I'm not wording my words right. He can eloquently explain the loss of Terry McAuliffe much better than I ever could. And so I'll let you hear it from what he has to say, his perspective, and I'll add a few words. It's a little long, but I'm going to put it on fast speed, and it shouldn't be that long once I get it over with. So bear with me, please. And let's get this going over here.
Okay, but it gets worse. So Axios is out with a headline today. Voters punish Democrats amid left drift. Voters punish Democrats amid left drift.
What left drift?
What left drift?
I don't see a left drift. Do you see a left drift?
Do you see a left drift?
Let's see. Mansion and Cinema are dominating the news,
and they've been stripping out
almost every
popular provision from this Build Back Better bill.
Almost every single one.
COVID is still ripping its way through the country. And the last time Democrats materially delivered was the $1,400 stimulus checks a long time ago. Now, by the way, when those stimulus checks were delivered, Biden's approval rating was the highest it has ever been.
Because it's almost like when
you materially deliver for people, they reward you in the polls and they support you. Democrats haven't materially delivered.
All that's in the news is,
hey, we're dropping paid family leave.
Hey, we're dropping Medicare expansion.
A Medicare expansion.
Hey, we're dropping free community college.
Hey, we're dropping all of these phenomenally popular programs.
So on what planet is it left
or drift? Now, I will be maybe overly kind and say this.
There is one
narrow way in which you could say the left, quote unquote, could be at least partially responsible for the loss here.
Unfortunately, there are many like ultra woke leftists who don't know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to elections, and they sincerely think that the American people are on board with all of their positions on the culture war. And McAuliffe definitely went down that culture war rabbit hole. And when Glenn Youngkin made this race about critical race theory, McAuliffe was right there to be like, I agree, let's fight about critical race theory. Let's break down that culture war rabbit hole. And then he got destroyed in that culture war rabbit hole. He was on the losing side of that culture war battle. Now, on the one hand, it's because he doesn't know how to argue it, but on the other hand, it's also because, why are you having that argument? Reframe the discussion on economics. Obviously, you should do that. Democratic positions on economics are way more popular. And you're going to let him define the debate by going all in on some culture war shit, and you're like, yeah, let's fight it out over the culture war, and then, on top of that, I have one other message, Trump is bad. Wow, he's not even in office, so why the fuck are we talking about this? So, in that very narrow sense, because yes, there are many lefties who would say, yeah, follow them down the culture war rabbit hole. No, do not follow them down the culture war rabbit hole. Drop the culture war. Swap that shit aside. Oh, critical race theory? Yes, he's wrong about critical race theory. Anyway, I'm going to raise the minimum wage to $50 an hour. I'm going to do that. He's not. I'm fighting for working people. He's not. That's what you do. So you can say the left is maybe in part responsible for making this idea widespread that we should dive into culture war battles. But in reality, there were no lefties on McAuliffe's staff, and McAuliffe's not a lefty. He decided on his own volition as a centrist to go all in on culture war bullshit. So even that point, there's only a grain of truth in that. Now, I want to tell you, because again, they're going to try to gaslight the shit out of you. Here's the reality. In the Build Back Better plan, they're blaming the left. The left were the most fervent supporters of these policies that I'm about to list for you. Long-term investments, long-term care investments. So I believe that's elder care. Plus 67 points. The approval for that is 79%. Modernizing K-12 school buildings, 73% popular. Electricity grid modernization, 74% popular. Medicare drug price negotiations, 73% popular. Lowering the Medicare age, 59% popular. Universal pre-K, 59%. Tuition-free community college, 58%. Extending the child tax benefit. That's +9 for popularity. Guys, the people who are fighting for these policies that are insanely popular, they're the solution. They're not the problem. The problem is you're stripping these policies out. The problem is the conservative Democrats, the corporate Democrats, the corrupt Democrats. I got more for you. What's the left fighting for? Let's see. Increasing capital gains taxes on the wealthy. That polls at 72%. Limiting deductions for wealthy business owners, 71%. Raising income taxes on the wealthiest 2%, 71%. Increasing taxes on large corporations, 65%. The answer is to go left on economics, to go all in on economic populism. That's the answer. The media is telling you, the chatter right now in Washington, D.C. is, no, it's the left's fault that we lost. Joe Biden is president. He's a corporatist. He leans more in a conservative Democrat direction. McAuliffe is a corporatist. He's a conservative Democrat. The guy who's the head of the Democratic Party in the country and the guy who lost this election are corporate Democrats. They're conservative Democrats. And somehow it's the left's fault? How's that the left's fault? They already have their answer before the conversation starts. Because corporate media is complicit in this farce, in this game. By the way, it's not just Axios. It's not just that clip I showed you of Warner beforehand. There was a Politico reporter who tweeted yesterday, chatter in D.C. is that Biden has drifted too far left. Biden has drifted too far left. He hasn't done Dickie McGee's act since that last round of stimulus checks. And he's drifted too far left. They're stripping out all of the left provisions that are super popular, but he's drifted too far left. The heart of the problem is this. The Democrats are putting their comical corruption on display for the world to see right now. They're broadcasting to the world that they take legalized bribes. Manchin is representing the oil industry. Kyrsten Sinema is representing Big Pharma. They are broadcasting that to the world by stripping out popular provision after popular provision after popular provision. So the Democratic Party has a stench on it that they can't get off. Now, that's not to say Republicans aren't corrupt. They are phenomenally corrupt. But they're smart enough to not dive into that conversation. They just change the topic. They just go, all right, why do you think when we had the last debate over, I think it was the stimulus checks, you turn on Fox News and they're talking about Dr. Seuss. And they're saying, the woke mob is trying to get rid of Dr. Seuss, crazy? They just changed the conversation. So Glenn Youngkin, who won't lift a finger to help working people and regular Americans, his argument is, hey, Terry McAuliffe is pushing this critical race theory nonsense, which is sectarianism, which is racist, which is anti-white, and this stuff is crazy. Man, they should stop doing this. So he just changed the conversation to some culture war bullshit, and Terry McAuliffe was like, yeah, let's fight about this. Why? Why would you fight about that? And why would your message be Trump bad when Trump's not even in office anymore? Woo, buckle up, baby. The midterms are going to be a bloodbath, son. The fact of the matter is this. The only way out for Democrats, and even this is a Hail Mary, pass the full $3.5 trillion bill with all of the popular provisions. On top of that, do another round of stimulus checks, or eliminate all student loan debt through executive order, which Biden has the authority to do, but he just doesn't want to do, or legalize marijuana, or a mix of those things, or all of those things. And then even then, you have to brag about your accomplishments from right now until the election. And even then, you might still lose because you didn't do any voting rights reform or gerrymandering reform. So now Republicans have like a +6 point advantage no matter what. So even if you do all those popular things, and you brag about those popular things, and you move the needle in your direction, which you would if you did those things, you might only pick up, 5 more points. And you pick up 5 more points, well, guess what? If you need a 6 point advantage just to hold on to the numbers you have, you're still going to lose seats. The Democrats are pathetic and ineffectual, and FDR's rolling over in his grave right now. He is. He's rolling over in his grave. Unbelievable. Somehow it's the left's fault. Somehow it's the left's fault. Again, the only tiny grain of truth in it is there are many ultra-woke left-wing idiots who will say, yeah, let's fight the culture war all day. Don't listen to them. They're wrong. But don't get it twisted. It is not the left's fault by and large. You know whose fault it is? Corporate Democrats, conservative Democrats. It's the fault of the openly and brazenly corrupt. It's the fault of...
Okay, give me a moment here. As I said, he said it better than I could, honestly. And the thing about it is that when it comes to the woke, Bernie Sanders is not woke. He's a civil libertarian. He's pro-tolerance. He's anti-racist, but he's not woke. Ben Shapiro is woke, but he's woke in the right-wing way. God, gays, and guns. He's not Christian, but he believes that he sides with those that favor Christian Sharia law. He sides with the American Taliban on the social issues. And that's a form of woke too. I don't know why people don't act like political correctness doesn't exist on the right, because these people are not free-thinking individuals and all of that, and don't ever let them convince you otherwise. But I'm getting off subject here. What Kyle Kalinske said was true, because the Democrats are scared to govern. Once they get a majority, they're scared to govern. And the Republicans know how to smear their political opponents. They know how to use the culture war, and the Democrats fall for it every freaking time. It's almost like I always compare the Democratic Party to the abused housewife, and the Republican Party with the wife beater T-shirt. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's just like, that's basically what it comes down to. And then when they lose the election, they apologize. The Democrats end up apologizing for being too far left. And they think that being too far left is providing health care for people, or actually supporting labor law reform to expand union rights, or things like federal jobs guarantee, or the free college. I mean, we're talking about things that can actually do good for the American people. They're not far left in other countries. I have to keep stressing that. What is considered far left in the United States is considered moderate and even kind of cool with some conservatives in other countries. But here in the United States, you favor the public option. You are far out of control, left-wing nutcase. That's basically it. And really, the extremist position ought to be anybody who opposes universal health care. That ought to be the extreme condition. But the thing about it is that since the days of the Democratic Leadership Council, that I mentioned that the Democratic Party is too scared to govern and too scared to try to relive the FDR New Deal consensus. It took the New Deal to get us out of the Great Depression. And Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal program was so fucking goddamn successful that the American people kept on saying, we want more of this, please. So much so that they were willing to elect FDR 4 times. And so, the thing about it is, I do not know why the Democrats are scared. They're scared of another George McGovern defeat. They're scared of another Walter Mondale defeat. But you know what? Under Walter Mondale, when Walter Mondale was defeated, the Democrats had the majority of the House and the Senate. When George McGovern was defeated, the Democrats still had the majority of the House and the Senate. But under Bill Clinton, he manages to lose the House and the Senate. And under Barack Obama, he also found a way to lose the House and the Senate. And the country went further and further right under Bill Clinton, and further right under Barack Obama. Whereas when Richard Nixon defeated George McGovern, it wasn't a great day because Richard Nixon was a horrible president. But you know what? The country did not go in a fucking warp speed toward the right, because the Democrats still had that kind of New Deal consensus going on that even some Republicans kind of reluctantly went along with. So, I mean, and even in the 1980s, when I noticed the rightward drift at a very young age, and everything I've ever feared what was going to happen to the United States in the future kind of did fucking happen. This country shifted further and further and further to the right. So, you want to stop the rightward trend, Democrats? Ditch the Democratic Leadership Council bullshit. Ditch the Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton consensus in the party. Make them in the dust heap of history and reclaim your fucking FDR New Deal roots. And here's the thing, I'm being fucking moderate by this because I even think the New Deal didn't go far enough, or the Great Society didn't go far enough. No, it didn't. It didn't go far enough. We needed to the Democratic Party needed to listen to people in the past like Eugene Victor Debs and Norman Thomas. And you think about it is, at least back in the 1930s, the Democrats were starting to realize that. And they realized that for almost 50 years until they just thought, oh, if we can't beat them, join them. And then they gave up so easily. The Democratic Party looked like a bunch of losers, quitters half the time. And it's really fucking frustrating. And we're going to see the Democrats lose the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate in 2022. It's a foregone conclusion. And lose to what? To the fucking Republican Party that believes in QAnon. To the fucking Republican Party that thinks that the Democrats are a bunch of Satanists. Democrats are a bunch of pedophiles. That's what they believe in. And the Democrats are scared of that. What the fuck? The Democrats are scared of Republicans sounding crazy? And scared, oh, we're going to be called socialists. Oh no. Democrats. You need to go and point the finger at the Republican Party and tell the American people, these are the ones that are crazy. Oh no, you want to look like you're fiscally responsible, and then you find an ass backwards way to spend shit, and that just pisses off people, and do little authoritarian things that pisses off people instead of tackling big problems and being principled civil libertarians. While the Republicans, who pretend to be for liberty, I'm for liberty, I'm for freedom, and then once they get a chance to govern, the Republicans turn out to be authoritarian, clerical fascists that a lot of them are in the leadership. I'm just tired of this shit. I am just tired of this shit. Over and over again. Year after year after year after year after year. Gosh. Anyway, I just need to kind of calm down and everything. So, as I did play Kyle Kalinske up there because I wanted to add a caveat to this to this discussion here, because lately there are people on the online left that kind of been making fun of Kyle Kalinske lately. I'm talking about some larger names, and they're saying, well, he's a wimp and whatever, and you got shit libs that have kind of he's kind of in a limbo between the shit libs and dirtbag leftists, whereas he himself is a dirtbag leftist. And funny, there were some shit libs today that were one-time dirtbag leftists too. So it's just thing about it is that getting pulled into the middle of this, and his algorithms fucking him up the way it's been fucking him up. And there are other people that have been fucked up with the algorithms by YouTube. The Amazing Atheist, who's going to be interviewed by Crystal Kyle and Friends, believe tomorrow, Friday. Anyway, he's got... YouTube is yanking subscription numbers away arbitrarily. But this drama that took place this past summer between various people on the online left, the TYT people, those evolving around Jimmy Dore and those evolving around Kyle Kalinske and all that, and he won't get his million subscribers because a lot of people saying he's becoming too much of a cliche Democrat lately. And I felt like he was in danger of doing that, but it seems like lately, like with yesterday's program on Blogspot Radio, that he sounded like the old Kyle Kalinske. If I have a criticism of Kyle Kalinske, it would be this. And this is basically the difference between him and, let's say, a Jimmy Dore type. And between Jimmy Dore and TYT, I'm on Kyle Kalinski's side, but between Jimmy Dore and TYT, I am on Jimmy Dore's side. And the thing about it is that that Kyle Kalinske kind of needs to take maybe some cue out of, or take some notes from Jimmy Dore, and go more into the independent politics. I'm not saying give up the Democrats entirely, but to go more toward independent politics. And my advice for Jimmy Dore is to be a little bit nicer to people. Be a little bit nicer, please. You're right on your analysis and everything, but you need to be a little bit nicer to people. You're going to be burning bridges and and all that. If he watches this and who cares, But anyway, so I just wanted to say that and everything, and I am a little long on time, so I'm about ready to sign off in a moment. And this is my opportunity to let you know that if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, well, that's okay. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As the First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Let's see. Feel free to subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell. And until next time, I am American Social Democracy. I will leave you guys and gals with some music. And if there's anybody here on the chat line, and let's see, there is one person I will greet in a second. Anybody else popping up on the chat line wants to have a conversation with me, please feel free to. I'll be happy to talk to you all. Later. Hello, Kevin Toohey. Hi, all United States Jesus leader all U.S. products. Well, that would be the entire capitalist system, Kevin. I get what you're saying. By the way, the music I'm using lately is all free music. Permission to use. Okay. Good night to you all.